Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday to you this Monday morning. This is episode 24, Mondays with Coach Rice. I'm your host, Coach Rice, your professional certified life and health coach and trained mental health counselor. Today, my subject is the power of agreement and unity. How this came about, let me see. I'll tell you about it after I go into it. But anyway, think about this as I go through this whole episode. Think about these kind of questions. Can a couple or group effectively facilitate agreement and unity during the decision-making process? Can agreement and unity be sustained over time? And can potential conflicts be managed to maintain unity without compromising on diverse perspectives? The reason why I want us to think about those questions is because there is so much power in agreement and unity. And the reason why I put them together, because they really are different. You can agree, but not have unity. But you can't have unity with disagreement. And so I want to talk about that more because this weekend, during the 4th of July, I got a chance to experience it in a way that how the Lord spoke to me as I was doing a project with my husband. And I'll talk more about that. But in this episode, my goal will be to define agreement and define unity. Also, talk about the power of it and why it is important. And then I talk about key elements of both agreement and unity, and then the benefits of having it. Because I want you to remember as I go through this, anytime you think about it, the devil is the agreement and unity is so powerful that the devil wants to divide us and keep us divided. That is his playground. If he can get us to be divided, then we will never be able to accomplish the most important purposes in life that each of us have. And so think about when I say agreement, by definition, it's a mutual understanding, arrangement, or consensus between two or more parties regarding a particular plan or course of action. When this weekend on the 4th, before the 4th, me and my husband had a discussion about I want a deck. But I didn't know what I wanted. I just really wanted a gazebo. I want to be able to sit outside and drink my coffee and enjoy, listen to the birds and stuff, read my word, but without the mosquitoes and stuff. So I bought a gazebo and I said, baby, just put up the gazebo for me. And he was like, no, we need a deck for that because you want it to be stable and safe. And so we talked, we had a little heated fellowship because he's trying to find out what is my vision? What am I trying to do? So as we're dialoguing about this, I'm telling him exactly what I want. He's telling me how he's going to do it, and I'm feeling very overwhelmed. But we having this discussion about it. We have deep communication about it. And so finally, we finally agreed. We both agreed on the vision and the plan and started to plan it out. That's what agreement is. It's a mutual understanding. So we both had to first gather the understanding before we can move further. So that by agreement, we said, okay, we're going to build a deck first, then put the gazebo up. That was the plan. And so unity came in because the unity is being united as one, joined as a whole, but united as one. When we said, okay, let's do this, and this, we became one in that particular plan. So now we have unity. We both agree, we have a plan, and now it's time to execute it. So when it was time to execute it, what we did was we On the 4th of July, we agreed we was going to do this. So we got all the materials and gathered it up, and it was 100 degrees outside. This is not the reason why I'm talking about this, but I just wanted to give you the example of, although it was 100 degrees outside, we really built the foundation of the deck that day. But it was so while we were building it, I kept feeling this sense in my spirit. The Lord was speaking to me about this particular subject, because it was like, pay attention. It was like he almost illuminated moments and was speaking to me during those moments, not in my spirit through scripture. Do you remember I don't know if you remember the story of the Tower of Babel in Genesis chapter 11, verse 4 through 6. For the sake of the power of the message, I really want to read it because it's so interesting how he talked about it in a way that showed how powerful it is to come into agreement. It said in Genesis 4:11, verse 4 through 6, then they said, come, let us build a city for ourselves, a tower that reaches the sky. This will make us famous, keep us from being scattered all over the world. But the Lord came down to look at the city and the tower, where and the tower the people were building. And he said, look, the people are united and they speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. So that's given us given us the message in representing that this is saying, if we are one and united and speaking the same language, that means we on one accord, nothing we set out to do will be impossible. That's what he was saying in this message. And I was like, wow. And that's what was happening to us at that moment. It was a moment where God was like, I want to show you something. I always knew it was power and agreement, but the mechanism, he was showing me the mechanics of it. And I was like, oh my God. I was truly blessed by it. But also in Matthew chapter 18, verse 19 and 20, he said again, truly I tell you, if two on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 gathered in my name, there I am with them. He's talking about he's in the midst of 2 of us gathering, especially this is in the context of prayer, but Jesus emphasizes the power of agreement. That if we come together in his name, he's there, right there in the midst. And sometimes, we may underestimate the power of prayer, but it's powerful when we come together. And then in Psalms 133:1, he talks about how good and pleasant it is for when God's people live in unity, together in unity, how pleasant and how it is, because that's what he desired for us to do, is to be unified, because he's showing us there is power in unity, but the devil uses division to divide us so we won't get things accomplished. We have to be careful and watch out for stuff like that, right? And so I'm going to talk about the key elements that you need to have agreement. Number 1, a mutual consent. You must have mutual consent. All parties should agree on the terms and conditions of whatever your goal or plan is together. Because if you don't have that mutual consent, I'm going to tell you it won't happen. A lot of times we can say, oh, I agree, so we won't disagree. That's not agreement. Agreement is saying, okay, let's weigh out everything. Let's get all the questions answered. Let's be clear on what this is, because as long as it line up with my core values, your core values, and we got the same plan and goal and structure, we can pull this off. Let's get the communication and the terms should be written. It's either written, verbal, or whatever. It's different types of agreements, but it must be clear that you all agree on the terms and conditions. That's the number one, mutual consent. Number two, common understanding is key. You must be clear on the subject or the terms, because if there's something you don't agree with, there needs to be conflict, not conflict, a healthy dialogue. It may bring up conflict, but that's not a bad thing. Let's get all of that conflict and all of the dust off, so we can actually, like I say, sand it down so it can be smooth, so we can have a nice ride. But we have to make sure that we are clear and have a shared understanding of what's happening, so that we can get this agreement, so we can get the goal accomplished, because you can't accomplish it if there's no clear understanding. Because where there's a lack of understanding, that's going to be trouble. If there's a lack of understanding, because division comes in through a lack of understanding. Remember that division comes in that way. And once you get any type of doubt or any type of confusion, then that's where you're going to have the problem with the agreement, because confusion also brings division. And let's talk about the commitment of it. Number three, you have to have a commitment. And the commitment got to be done for all the people who are involved. For the commitment is really just to fulfill the purpose of or the goal or the obligation of the agreement. So you must be clear. Communication is another one. It is so key when you're in agreement to have effective communication, because we don't want to bully no one into agreement. It's always let's get an understanding of the expectations, so that in the terms that's involved in the agreement, and so we have a good communication and dialogue around it, and now we can move forward. If you can't do that, it may be best, you may want to rethink about moving forward. If everybody is not agreeing on the terms, we may go back and forth. Even when you do legal documents, they go back and forth, red line, until they all come to an agreement. Once the agreement is signed, everybody is on board, things get done, things get accomplished. That's how you'll get those things accomplished. That is so important when we are trying to come to an agreement. Now I'm going to talk about the key elements of unity, because that's going to be important as well. And that's what happened when my husband and I was talking about building a deck. We had to really come to that agreement. And it wasn't, nobody was being bullied into something. It was really, truly mutual understanding of, okay, we got this goal, let's set out, let's do it. We have been in situations where we have agreed and one of us wasn't in agreement and it didn't come to pass. That's kind of how I know it's true. But the key elements of unity is, number one, oneness. When you have oneness, that's the part you need. That's why I say agreement and unity, because in agreement now you got to have oneness, because there's going to be trouble coming your way, tribulation, hardship, all of that. But if you in agreement, guess what? And oneness, you undivided for that common purpose. No matter what come your way, you're gonna hold each other accountable to get it done, because there's this oneness that's so powerful. Harmony is another one. Number two is harmony is another key element. When you have harmony, you have togetherness, where two people, where the group or two people are in mutual support of one another in these shared goals, and so the common you all working in harmony for the greater good or the common interests of each other. This is so important. Another one, number three, is alignment. That's when alignment is arrangement of two or more things that are positioned in a straight line where the parts come together as a cohesive whole. So if you are in alignment, then you really have power, because that bond is going to be so hard to break. And so that's going to be important. And I'm going to talk more about that as I go along. But the reason why I'm really talking about this subject too is because I see so many marriages, so many communities. I see so much division in churches, communities, and marriage because of lack of agreement and unity. Those two go hand in hand. And it's important because we have a purpose. All of it has a purpose, and in the division will hinder the purpose to move forward. So that is so key. That's why it's key to talk about these things, to communicate and dialogue, not be bullied into an agreement, but to really truly mutually understand what the agreement is, fall into alignment, and get into the unity of this agreement and move forward in it. It is the most powerful thing you can experience in your life, is the power of unity. So think about all the communities that we are involved in. When there's division, it can break a whole community apart, in especially the community of marriage. And so let me tell you the benefits of having this agreement and unity, because there are so many benefits. In Ecclesiastes, which is one of my favorite books, he talks about in verse 4, verse 9 through 10, two people are better off than one, for they help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. While we were doing the deck, we were both working in harmony together. We both, I mean, literally working in harmony. He was showing me things. He was teaching me how to do the nail gun. He was teaching me how to cut right. It was just so many things involved in learning. And it was 100 degrees. So I was making sure we had our water, we was hydrated. I was helping him lift cinder blocks, all of these things, because I was able to do that. It's so much strength in numbers. So the two of us working together, we were able to put that deck together effectively. Not only that, we were able to accomplish it with the two of us working together. Could he have done it by himself? It would have been so much harder. But with me coming alongside of him made it just that much more better. And then so we had strength and support of one another, which championed unity. That was so beautiful. So God was showing me that effectiveness and efficiency is another benefit. When we were in agreement, one of the things that I noticed is that it made it more efficient. We had clear direction, cooperation with each other, and we were able to do it the correct way, the most efficient way that we can do it, because we came together with our ideas and aligned them together. And so it does make everything more effective and efficient. Trust and relationship building was a big, huge one. Like I was telling my husband when we finished the deck, I said, the power wasn't just in it wasn't just about the deck. The power was that God was showing me how wonderful it is when two people come together and do something collectively in agreement, and how it builds trust and strengthen the relationship. But what the devil want to do is he want to take that apart. He don't want that, because when you have that, you can do just about anything you want to do when you have that trust in a relationship, which allows you to be able to actually put an agreement together and work it out, because you have that trust. And then number 4, strength and resilience. When the weather started to when the heat started to get more intense, we didn't quit. We still kept going. but we made sure we were safe while we were doing it. And so strength and resilience, the reason why that's so important, because you're going to face challenges when you start to agree, when you make an agreement on something and you got a goal that's set out. You're going to face challenges, but those challenges are not meant to tear you down. They're meant to make you strong and make you more efficient in what you're doing when it comes to setting out what you're trying to set out as far as the goal is concerned, because there's a purpose in it. But when you come together, oh my God, with when stuff happen, it's so powerful when it comes together. Yesterday I went out and we watched a movie that was so powerful. It was called I think it was The Soul of Hope. It's a new movie that's out, and it was about how one of the biggest things about the strength and resilience, they were adopting children, and the church was getting the congregation. He was ministering to the congregation like, these children need us, basically, and let's come together and help them. All of them, the pastor and his wife started off with bringing these children home, the ones that didn't nobody want. And when they came in, they struggled, but they laid the foundation for the church. And so when the church came in and started to adopt children and started to come together, that church came together for one purpose, and that was for the kids. When they start to have trouble and it got really intense, the finances, everything, all of these trials and tribulations came. When they talked about it, they didn't just have the elephant in the room nobody would talk about, or the pastor didn't say, well, we can't talk about this because we can't let them know we're struggling. When he poured his heart out and let them know how he was struggling just as much as they were, they were all in agreement of taking the kids. But when they all came together in unity, that changed the game. They all came together and they were praying for one another. They were coming over, helping each other even though they all adopted kids, they were helping each other as a family. They came one unit, and the power that came out of that, it was so much power in that when they came together, to the point that town, what was it called? Well, to come to me. Well, that town came together. It's a small town in Texas that came together, and what they did was I'm gonna put the name of the movie in my YouTube video after in a link, because I kid you not, it's a movie that I think people should see. But when they came together after they faced those challenges, other towns started adopting, to the point that they had no more kids left, which was such a blessing. So they came together for one purpose, and goal was for the kids. But when they finished, the power of agreement and unity was so intense that they accomplished their goal. It was so beautiful. And so number 5, one of the other benefits is testimony and influence. Their testimony influenced the town to continue to go on. They was able to see the fruits of their labor. That's what happens. Unity serves as a powerful testimony to other people. It's showcasing the benefits of harmony and cooperation. That's what happened in that movie. It was so powerful. But one of the things that I want you to remember, to sum all of this up, is power in unity. It's power in agreement and unity together. But most of all, remember this: when you see division, be careful not to enter into it and give power to that, but take the division as a sign that we have to sit down and communicate about this situation, because we are divided. Do not overlook division, because that is the playground for the devil to have fun with your marriage, your community, your church. No, you must deal with it, because when there's division, there is no accomplishment. of the goals that you set out to do. So I want to encourage you, when you have a team at work, if your team at work is struggling and are divided, don't take that lightly. And you have division in your marriage, don't take it lightly. You have division in your community that you're trying to build, don't take it lightly, because you're going to sit down and you're going to look up, or you have division in church. That is not good. Don't take it lightly. Because at the end of the day, guess what's going to happen? The enemy is going to have his way, and you will never get your purpose accomplished in the way that it's supposed to be accomplished. And a lot of other people are affected by the fact that we are divided. So make sure that we keep that in mind, that there's power in agreement and unity. Happy Monday. Have a blessed day. Hope you enjoyed this episode, but I will put the name of that movie in my link, because I promise you, you have to see it. It was so powerful, and it's a true story, by the way. That's what I like about it too. So have a happy Monday. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed.